All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Excuse the mayor and Councilwoman Goodrich who were unable to be here, but we do have a quorum, so I'm grateful that we can be there and take care of the business of the city. We'll go ahead and start with our opening ceremony. We'll have the prayer offered by Councilman White, and then afterward we've asked Lieutenant Tucker to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be here tonight to discuss the affairs of our city. We're thankful for this area that we live in and for this great nation that we are blessed to receive the benefits of freedom from. We pray that as we discuss the matters tonight that we'll be guided by thy hand and do what is best for our citizens. We are thankful for those who serve to protect and keep us safe, and those who serve to protect our freedoms. We are grateful for all that we have and pray again for thy Spirit to be here to guide us. And this we do in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman White and Lieutenant Tucker, appreciate that. We have the approval of the previous minutes. Any corrections or motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman White to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Baird. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, we're now in our public comment period. This is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. If you'd like to make comment, we'd ask you to come up to the podium, state your name, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to share your thoughts. Is there anyone here that would like to make public comment?
Council, I guess I'm here for Preston Catholic, Drew, I think a little closer.
May not be on.
Oh. No, I was talking with Drew a little bit, I think I'm a little late to the game. I know there was a public hearing on transit housing, Airbnb, remote, and those kind of things, but as we were looking at it, some concerns that we had with the current code and what we're looking at is where it's zoned to have those. Personal opinion, thinking it is okay to have it in residential areas. For the reason I'm looking at how much we're trying to bring into the city, and for a lot of people, I believe Airbnb for families coming out, it's a preferred option. I know we've got an archery shoot that will be hosting those out soon. We've got multiple tournaments hosted by Disc Golf that will be coming out. Vanessa has planned some awesome trucking. She's got a big truck event coming up. But we speak to that. We know that we have hotels and some of these other things. There's something to showcase Roosevelt that can happen with some of these houses renting out these extra apartments. It's a highlight of Roosevelt, highlight some of the things that we have. And we want to make sure some of those options are more readily available. I recently looked up how much Airbnb traffic we have in Roosevelt. We had 7 houses that were opening their homes to that, and just look at what we're trying to bring in. It'd be good to have that up to 20, something like that. But if I just don't know if we're too restrictive on allowing that to happen, and with what we've put in place. So what I'd be saying is it'd probably be something nice to have on the agenda in the future. I know you guys are looking in this, down the line. That's something to be evaluated and going with the current track that you're on, but I would hope we'd open it up to less restrictions on where it can be placed, but maybe with those restrictions, a cap on how many you guys would want in the city. So that could be a first come, first serve. I don't know how that would all look, but I'm just thinking it's something that needs to be revisited at some point. with the future of what we're trying to bring in to Roosevelt recreation-wise and those who come to see our city.
Good.
Right, that's it.
Thank you, Preston, appreciate that. And I spent months going over our policy and trying to get something in we were required by the state to have, and so we put it in, but we definitely can look at some of those things, but we did want to follow.
And that's why I said I
Planning and
mentioned I might be a
zoning.
little bit late to the game.
Well,
From those conversations.
I think it would have been challenging at that time, if you read our policy, it's huge. There's a lot of.
I've only got some pages of like,
Yeah,
I tried
exactly.
to find it all. It was a lot.
Exactly, there is a lot there, but I definitely think it's something we need to revisit at some point, so.
Yeah, and maybe this is a good thing as we're watching what can happen with it, so.
Right,
But that's it.
thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to make public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on. Our first item, fiscal year 25 budget opening, Zeke.
Good evening, council. We've got before you an updated list there in front of you, because it was different than what we'd submitted originally. So I'll just go through these items. If there's any questions about, feel free to stop me on any one of them. I'll give a little bit of description of the ones that we come across. The first one started off, this is the general fund. So in the council budget, there's been a request for $13,000 to be added for the 4th of July community celebration.
Zeke, that one's not the same one.
Oh, okay.
Sierra, or you, Drew, don't have the updated one,
Okay.
so
It's in front of that.
we have
You
it
guys have
here.
it's not there.
Just, we need to make sure that Sierra gets it so she can update the
Okay.
packet. Anyway, go ahead, sorry to
Okay,
interrupt.
no, you're just fine, thank you. So on the 4th of July celebration, there's been a request to add 13,000 to that budget. That was discussed in a prior council meeting.
Right,
The second one, bank charges and processing fees, you'll see that throughout each budget. I just wanted to address that with you so you know what the total of those are. So part of that, as a total, all the bank charges total up to a request of $85,900. Last fiscal year, we spent $98,000, but we only budgeted $44,000 this year. So a lot of that, the majority of that is just catching up to actual fiscal activity from prior year. But there is an additional $30,000 in fees that we're getting hit with that we need to budget for. So we're in the process of looking at that, on how to address that and figuring out where those fees are coming from and what we can do to maybe recoup some of that money if as a council, that's what you'd like to do. So I'm putting together an analysis to see what other cities and counties are doing, if we want to add a fee to credit card charges or not. But so as you see throughout here, there's going to be bank charges and they total to that $85,900. Building and ground professional technical, that is increased cleaning fees and also adding the innovation hub to that cleaning list. So that's some of that request of $16,000 there. The planning and zoning department fleet and fuel, again with that one is they're asking for an additional $1,000 to carry them throughout the rest of this year on what they've been spending. The fire department, they had a donation that they actually received of $8,000. So this is just to budget that $8,000 so they can spend those funds. Fleet maintenance and repairs in the police department. This is just, so they had an insurance claim and the insurance paid $4,700 and they spent that out of their fleet maintenance fee. So this is just putting that money back in their account from that insurance claim. The police liquor control allotment, they've received additional funding that we hadn't budgeted for already. So this is, you'll see the revenue budgeting and the expense, so those will wash out. That's money that's coming into us that we're budgeting to spend. The bank charges, parks and utilities. This is increasing utility usage up at the parks, and that looks like it's coming from the fourplex, the addition of that. So the utilities and the water, that next one, those are both for the complex. Part of the increased water usage is also budgeting, making up for that. So we used $190,000 in water usage last year, and we budgeted 80,000, so we're just getting that caught up, but it is an additional, about 90,000 that we're using.
Is that gonna be continuous, or is that just because we were putting sod in, we had to water so often?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, it's gonna go up from that addition, and then we probably did have to use more to do that as well. So moving down to park professional technical services, this is just the 600 for the pickleball screen that was donated. And then, so we just have to budget that expense going out, so that's what that is. The revenue was donated on that, so that's the revenue for that one. So we got 2 more bank charges, and then moving down to capital. So general fund total request is $291,501. And then moving down to capital projects, we have phase 3 expansion of the secondary water. They're requesting $50,000 there. It looks like we had some expenses that ended up being a little bit more than we anticipated. So we had budgeted for meter and radios to cost $300 a piece, and ended up being about $515 each. So, and Kirby, if you have any questions on that one, but that cost just came a little bit higher than they anticipated. So the grant match is requesting to be increased by $50,000. The next one down is building and ground break room upgrades. That one had some unexpected costs, so there was an additional $8,500 being requested there. The next one is the golf donations. They had a 50th year celebration last fiscal year they raised money to remodel tee boxes, new pine trees, update sprinklers, driving range upgrades, and bathroom upgrades. So this funding was donated to do those upgrades at the golf course. So this is just budgeting that donation received so they can spend those funds. The next 2 are bank charges, and then another bank charge. And the last one is maintenance and repairs for the irrigation water pumps at the sewer farm. Apparently those pumps are going bad and need to be replaced, so that's $70,000 to get those to replace. And then we are working on a plan with Kirby to get those on a continual replacement basis, so they're not all hitting at once. We can work through that each year. So all in total capital projects is $108,596.79. The water total was $28,647. And then the sewer was $70,000 even, for a total budget increase request of $498,744.79.
Any questions from the council?
I'm just curious about the fees. Seem to be quite.
The bank charges.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we're trying to dig into that, but this is just what's been hitting our account. More people are using their cards, and we don't currently charge any fee to use a card. So the city is eating all those expenses. Like I said, 54,000 of it is just catching up to what we did last year, and then the 30,000 is an increase. So
If they pay directly from their bank instead of a card, there's no fee, right?
right.
And so, I talked to Zeke earlier about this and appreciated him looking at maybe seeing what we can do to mitigate some of those charges. Maybe if people use a bank card, they may have to pay a little extra, whereas if they pay with through their bank directly, or if they pay with cash, then maybe we even have a little discount or something, I don't know. We just need to look at it, but we did get hit pretty hard, it looks like, with bank fees this last couple of years. Am I correct on that?
Yeah. I mean,
Last year especially.
Mm-hmm. And we anticipate that to keep going up. I mean, more and more people are using their cards every day, so it would be good to look at some different options there on what we can do to recoup those fees or mitigate some of that.
Any other questions from council?
No.
Okay, seeing no questions from council, we need a motion to go into public hearing to discuss the fiscal year budget.
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Councilman White, second by Councilman Allen. We're now find ourselves in a public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to address the council with relative to the fiscal year 25 budget adjustments? Seeing none, entertain a motion to go back to regular council meeting.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Barrett, second by Councilman Allen, all in favor? Aye. I think I forgot to take the vote on the other one, sorry. All right, we're now into regular session of city council. Let's go to 9C, the budget, the requested adjustments to the budget. Any more discussion, or do you have a motion for the budget?
We approve the budget adjustments.
Okay, I've got a motion by Councilman White to approve the budget requested adjustments.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Allen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you for your efforts and thanks for looking into that bank charge to see if we can mitigate some of that. That would be awesome if we could do that. Okay, our next is the public hearing. Before we get to public hearing, we have the Lone Tree annexation and zone request. Drew, if you want to come show that, and then we'll go from there.
Good evening, council. We bring before you a petition for an annexation on 3000 West. And I've prepared a little statement here. I'll just read on the findings that we found on this particular petition. It is proposed to incorporate 9.4 acres on 450 West, 3000 South approximately. Petitioned by Nate Snow, the property owner. The name on the plat will be the Lone Tree annexation. The property is located within Roosevelt City's future annexation boundary. Culinary water is on the west side of 3000 West, and capacity is available. Currently, sewer infrastructure is not located within a reasonable distance to be a benefit, but with growth in the area, this could change in the future and be available. So for now, it would be a 1 acre minimum building lot with a septic system approved by Tri-County Health Department. The property currently borders two separate zonings, and if you'll pull up that zoning map. So there in the purple, if you'll zoom in on the purple and green, yep, right there. So that would be 3000 West, the green and purple separation. The zones that we have there, the M2 zone would be the purple, that would be our heavy industrial. RR1, which is rural residential, 1 acre minimum would be the green you see, 1 acre minimum. And the zoning request at this time for the petition property would be a P&R professional office and residential zone, which would give flexibility for several different land uses at this time. And recently, the council to talk of the short-term rentals. The council did approve short-term rentals being available unlimited in the P&R and the commercial districts, which is State Street and 300 North, adjacent on both sides of the highway. And this would be an approved permitted use in the P&R. And this would be a mixed use in this area, so where they could have the flexibility to do professional office and residential with that benefit of short-term rental.
Where's the lot in relation to the purple and green? Just to the,
The lot would, if you go to the
Zoom in a
first
little
map
bit.
there.
I'm just trying to adjust where you.
Okay, so let's go back to the other ones here and then just zoom in on that little red roofed house. If you can go up, scroll up. Yeah. So, Nate, correct me if I'm wrong. It'd be this.
Those
this
two parcels, that one and
parcel
that
here
one.
and here.
Okay, that's what I was thinking it was that way. I was just trying to get my bearings there.
There's currently a single family dwelling on the lot right there. Yes. Currently at this time. The Planning and Zoning Commission approved the 9.4 acres to be annexed into Roosevelt City with a P&R zone request in February. And that is our findings for this petition. if there's any questions.
Any questions from council?
What is the kind of current, opinion of the city when it comes to like putting in a new zoning next to other zonings that aren't the same designation?
As far as opinion, we like to keep like-kind zones together, where this is on the outskirts of our zone. As far as the permitted use, what would be most beneficial to that area, we have M1 and we have rural residential all in that same area, kind of. This would be a split use, so where it would be beneficial either way. So it would be, in our findings in this recommendation of planning and zoning, it would pertain to both of those zones and be a mix of both.
So it kind of fits, it's on the outskirts, so we're kind of
Correct.
defining new territory anyway, okay.
Would we define the ones around there the same, then they could also go for the PO&R?
Correct.
Right.
And you said approved by
Yes.
I'll motion to approve if.
Well,
we're
we
ready.
need to go to public hearing first, I need a motion. Unless there's other questions.
Move we go to public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion to go into public hearing concerning the Lone Tree annexation and zone request by Councilman Allen. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman White, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we're now in public hearing concerning the Lone Tree annexation and zone request. Is anyone here that would like to speak or ask questions pertaining to this annexation and zone?
Yeah, I'd like to speak. My name's Tracy Bird. We've got family and a bunch of houses in there. You know, we've all got pretty big spots. They're not big. They're a couple acres, 3-4 acres. I think you guys is bigger than that, but most of them around there, we like a little more area. We don't want a bunch of little houses just pop through there. I don't see no benefit from it. I can see one benefit. The one that's putting it in is gonna put a whole bunch of little houses. I think, Duchesne County is, 5 acres per lot.
No,
What is it?
one
Per what?
one residence per acre, same what this would be if it was annexed,
You're sure?
positive.
They must have changed that.
It has to have a paved road access and culinary water in order to be that way, but which this has both.
What would be the difference with, Roosevelt and the county?
As far as density,
Well, like your, paving and it's just gonna make it a big mess up through there.
So,
And I just don't see no benefit at all. I mean, why you wanting to put it into Roosevelt City? That's what I guess I wanna know.
Yeah, what is the benefit of putting it in Roosevelt City compared to Duchesne County?
you
Like,
can't get water without annexing according to Roosevelt City's current rules.
oh, current
there's
rules.
yeah, there's incentive for Roosevelt City to bring utilities and.
Well, they always wanna take everybody in Roosevelt City, but I'm right down in there and I don't know who would even, that's my place right there. You got your arrow on right there. Right there. And, I don't know, I just don't see no benefit, I guess, from, and if you have, you'd have to bring the sewer in, right? For Roosevelt City.
No,
Not required to, but if there's improvement going on, we have a sewer in Stonegate, and we could come across at some future time when more development is done in that area.
Well, I don't see any building that should go on then. If you're gonna put 1 per acre, you're looking at all the septic systems, all of our drinking water, most of us have wells.
Yeah, and most of you are on septics as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're all like 300 foot from our houses. So, you get how many homes down through there, it ain't. That could contaminate all of our wells, and you can even talk to the people that, oh, who the heck was it I talked to? You get too many septics in an area, it will contaminate your groundwater.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. We do have some others speak on it as well.
Yeah,
If anyone
I
else
think
would like to
so.
speak, thank you.
Okay, I just have a question. So as far as curb and gutter go, as far as where the home's going to be placed, so I'm the direct neighbor of, and I've been told that there are homes gonna go in there. Fine. However, I'm like, but I have children, I have animals, I like my quiet space, I won't lie. And so I'm like, where are they gonna put the curb and gutter? Where are like, as far as wells go, how are you gonna drill enough wells for that? Like, how does that work? Exactly.
Do you want me to address that, or?
Drew?
So if approved, this would be on culinary water, Roosevelt City water, there would be no wells approved.
Okay,
And any septic design would have to be approved through Tri-County Health Department, and they also are aware of the wells in the area. They do have to have a physical separation from.
are we worried about a mess like we had up top with septic systems?
And that will be determined by Tri-County as far as how many wells, drinking wells are in the area and.
Well, no, I mean septic systems, sorry.
That's also.
The septic systems, like how they had issues up top.
prevent this from becoming the next Stonegate?
Yeah, exactly, so how do we,
Tri-County Health determines that.
so we,
Well-
okay, well, we saw how that went before. But,
We told all of them there that was just that it was a swamp, and they still went in and put it. We told people not to buy there, look what happened.
well, and so, okay, so curb and gutter, let's talk that. Like, where is the,
Can we have you come up to the mic
Sure.
and give us your name too for our records? Thank you.
Sky Poundstone?
Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to know where the road would go. Like if I'm, because the road goes between the Snow property and mine. So
And our house is like right on the road.
yes, literally right on that road. So I wanna know how that's gonna affect my property. I wanna know how that's gonna affect my family and where I live.
Yeah, please, I have no information.
Somebody.
Yes.
Q&A, I guess. Currently, there is not a proposal for a site plan to develop the area. We are just annexing property into Roosevelt City. As far as the single dwelling on the lot, that will be annexed as well. But as far as a construction plan, a development plan, there has been nothing proposed.
Okay, so then if it is annexed in, and correct me if I'm wrong, so if it is annexed in, by the time it's Roosevelt City and that turns around, then it's not Duchesne County, so then we don't have much of a say then?
No.
You'll still be notified on the public hearings if he decides to subdivide. If it's over 3 lots, it will go to a public hearing with city council. If it's under 3 lots, it'll be considered a minor subdivision and will not, per
Okay.
Utah State Code.
Okay, so, but there's no, we don't know of any further future plans, we're just, hey, this
Well, I
is how
think-
this is going.
I think to answer your question, the property owner isn't making any plans until he knows what are the guidelines that he has to do. So if he can get it annexed to a PO&R, 1 acre lot minimum, then he can divide up and come up with the plan.
Then he has a plan.
And that plan would have to then go to Drew Eschler and planning and zoning to be approved to make sure that it then meets the
The
standards.
Roosevelt City
Right,
standards,
exactly.
but not those of us around him that, because we're all Duchesne County and we will stay that way. right?
The Roosevelt City standards as far as the roads and sidewalk curb gutter are a lot more stringent than Duchesne County.
Okay. Okay, so if it does get to that point and he decides to build, those things have to happen though, like the curb and gutter, different things developing wise.
Depending on what planning and zoning and city council require and his development, if it's a subdivision, a major subdivision over 3 lots, that'll have to be looked at by planning and zoning.
Okay.
So.
Okay, and then, I'm not quite sure I understood, so you're saying that this is kind of an area that is, we obviously know in front of us is industrial, right? He's trying to put us in what other category there? Like, or himself in as residential. So, but at some point you guys are kind of talking that it's like mixing, like there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So can you explain to me how that works? Like,
Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
sorry, I should just.
No, you're fine. I actually know the answer to this, but I'll let Drew address it because
So professional office and residential is our mixed-use zone. It's a mixed use of professional office, which would entail some potential commercial area. And residential, it's a dual use, so it can be also utilized as residential. Short-term rental has been approved recently for this use to help with what was spoke to before, to alleviate and to help with some of the transient traffic.
Okay, so the area in front of us and that is just kind of whatever.
So M1 would be heavy industrial, which is the purple there.
Okay.
And the green would be rural residential, 1 acre minimum, so more of the agriculture use within Roosevelt City.
Okay.
And you might also just add that this has always been part of Roosevelt's plan at some point to expand to the outer areas as people are willing to annex into Roosevelt as we grow as a city. But we're not going to ever force anyone. We're just, that's always the plan is that we would do that. And there are benefits to being part of the Roosevelt City, one being the culinary water, the roads, some of the other things that are able to provide in those services. So there are advantages, but we would never force anyone. We just have a homeowner or a landowner that would like to annex and have some options for the property.
Yeah. Another thought is that part that's in green is already Roosevelt City zoned as RR1, which could be done exactly the same thing as if this were done. So it's not like you don't already have the issues that you're talking about in that area.
Yes, but not at my house.
No, it's not across the street. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at it and be, okay, that's fine, it's across the street, but when it starts sneaking in to my home, it's a little unnerving, I won't lie, and it is intimidating, because we're out there for a reason, because it's a little more quiet, but it's still close to town.
Right.
So, and we like it that way.
Well, thank you, Sky. Drew, you want to make a comment, and then if there's anyone else?
Just one clarification, Duchesne County, as was mentioned before, with improved water, which this does have on a septic, would be 1 acre as well. So it's the same land use within Roosevelt City as it would be in Duchesne County.
And same density.
Same density.
How often, or how long until they bring the sewer out that way if it annexes it?
It would be moved by the development of that area.
That's what's bad.
So now they need you to annex in too.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak to this? Okay. State your name,
Probably
please.
just more questions, but Keith Draper, I own a residence across the road from where this is. My question would be more around like other effects on the property owners next to it being in the city, like our rights to have animals and shoot guns on our property within the county.
Right.
Okay.
Does any of that change?
No, your county privileges would stay county.
Is Roosevelt City gonna get a lot of calls and complaints on us utilizing what's well within our rights, and is Roosevelt City prepared to deal with all of that?
Structures could change it because state law requires that if you're gonna shoot within a certain distance of a house, you have to have permission of the owner. And so if a house was built there, it could change that a little bit, just depending on how close you were where you were shooting. Anything else, I don't see it change.
Thank you.
I got a question real quick. So if you're on your property and you shoot, they build there, if it's closer than how far you gotta,
For all of
changes.
Utah, if you're closer than 300 feet, you have to have permission of the owner of the home.
Irrespective of where and county boundary lines and everything.
Yeah.
Well-
Well, inside cities, a lot of times it's prohibited altogether.
right,
But for the county, as long as you weren't annexed, that's already a rule that you can't shoot closer than 300 feet without written permission from the owner of the home.
you better come arrest me.
I don't even wanna go there, we can take down.
Go talk to his brother.
Yeah, just don't tell TJ.
I have a question, just,
State your name.
I'm Greg Poundstone, I live where she lives. But the size of the office buildings, like what are we talking? Like, we talking like multi-level? Are we,
There hasn't been a plan as to what actually is going in there. They just want options to be able to do that. All we're looking is annexing a portion of land. Then once they know that is, they can then approach planning and zoning and Drew and work out more of the details as to what that would look like. And again, a lot of those things would have to also be approved by council. Anything I'm missing there, Drew?
And maybe Nate can speak to what is.
I'm willing to if you want me to.
Go ahead.
So, I don't know if any of you have driven by the house that was there or familiar with what it looked like before I purchased the property versus now. I think I spent close to $50,000 cleaning that property up without touching the house. And I think it's greatly improved the value of that property of mine for sure. And I think it's helped with the value of the properties around it. My goal is to, I currently have somebody renting that house. They've been renting the house since October. And that's kind of what my design is for the rest of the ground, is to have something, and this kind of goes to what Preston was talking about, and that's one of my reasons for doing the professional office, is building something that's residential that would be, have the potential anyway to do something that was short-term rental. It wouldn't necessarily have to be. My goal was to do short-term rentals there, and I have a long-term tenant there, and they're there. I think they've spent maybe 2 weeks there since October total, and so they're really not a nuisance to anybody around them. My goal would be to have 2 to 3 more along that road as I could. Similar size. I'm not trying to build anything big. And whatever I do is going to be as nice as what's there, and in my opinion, is going to improve what is there. Does that answer your questions? And anybody else have any other questions?
How many houses are you planning on?
2 to 3 more maybe.
So not a bunch down there.
I don't really intend to do any development on the back piece. That would be cost prohibitive for what my pockets would.
But yeah, do you wanna see what I got in my pocket?
So that's what I.
You could also.
So you're talking mainly the piece along the highway or the road there?
Right. Even if-
The main reason of annexation is the rule with the water, and the culinary water. But if that wasn't an issue.
Anyway.
What's that?
If you wanted to go through with this plan anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
Or either way, but, yeah. If I didn't, let's say if it wasn't professional office residential, I would probably build the same 2 or 3 houses and have them be residential and be residential rentals. But I'm trying to do something that's good for the community. I'm trying to do something and be a good neighbor, and I'm trying to do something that's within Roosevelt City's regulations for my design, and that's the reason for the proposal of what I proposed, so.
Okay.
I don't
Thanks.
think any of us think you're trying to be a bad neighbor.
Sure.
We're just worried about what's gonna happen, you know, down the road.
Juan, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. And I'm agreeing with what Tracy's saying right now, is that it's more, we're concerned because we don't know what a plan is, what the outcome would be, what the real impact on us would be. And just saying, you know, we're gonna annex this whole area and we really don't know what we're gonna do with it and all that kind of stuff is where we're concerned.
Sure.
The part of us being in the county with, you know, we've got horses and cows and all this stuff all around us and things. We just, I think more, my feeling is I just want to go on record as saying we were there first. So don't come back in and say, well, you got to get rid of this and get rid of that and do this because of the zoning change or whatever.
I think that
Right?
goes back to what Keith kind of was saying was it's gonna be, I don't know. It just kind of goes back to what Keith was trying to say was we don't
Just
have to
that-
change.
We're just a little concerned because we don't really know
Right.
what it means yet.
Sure.
You know?
Thank you, Vaughn, I appreciate that.
And we'd appreciate it if you didn't put one every acre.
Okay,
Any other questions?
all right. We have a motion to go back to regular,
I'll move, we go back. I'll second that.
okay, got a motion by Councilman Allen to go back to regular, city council meeting and a second by Councilman Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Any other discussion on this annexation?
My thoughts are, I think it is in the best interest of Roosevelt City to annex the property, and I think it would benefit us. I know that it's possibly disheartening because we don't know what's happening in the future in that area, but I just want to let you know I'm, you know, as on the city council, we represent those in Roosevelt City, and there are reasons why it actually is in our interest to annex in. So
I know why. Brings you guys more money. Don't lie.
I don't know. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if, you know, when the annexation goes through, any plan that he wants to over the 3 lots is gonna have to come back here anyway.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
right? So why, yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Right now, we would just bring the property in as, you know, Roosevelt City boundary, and then whatever happens in the future would happen. And hopefully you guys can all get together and make a plan that you're all happy with and start moving forward on that plan, because without a plan, you really don't know what's going to happen in the future. So anyway, those are my thoughts.
So is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll motion to annex.
The lone, what's it called? Lone tree annexation and the zone.
Yes. That's
So Councilman Baird made the motion to approve the Lone Tree annexation with the zone request. Do I have a second?
I'll second, and I just want to add, obviously I am biased being representing Roosevelt City, but we always try to operate in good faith, and we want to be good neighbors, and we want to help improve if we can, so.
Okay, I worked for Roosevelt City years back. And I don't know you guys too well, but let me tell you, the ones I dealt with,
It's all changed.
hey, man, they'd stab a knife in your back just like that.
We're trying really hard not to do that, and I agree with Councilman Allen in that we really do want to be good neighbors, and we do try to work with a lot of the entities around us, as well as Roosevelt City. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. All right, enough of the public hearings. We're now on to 9A, Uinta Wax Road. Drew.
This is a right-of-way, temporary right-of-way for doing a wax.
Just a minute, thank you for coming, we appreciate it.
Just don't stab us in the back.
We won't. You know where to find us, yes.
Okay. So, Unit Wax has approached staff of getting a temporary easement on the south part of our freshwater pond at the sewer facility. As you can see in the green there, just in the very corner. And then if you'll scroll down. Well, actually, let's go back up and talk about that one first. So this will just be a temporary, just in the corner. As far as the square footage goes, they're paying by the rod. I believe this would be 7.43 rods, which would equate to $74.30 is what we would get paid for this.
What a good deal.
Yes. And if you'll scroll to the next one, this one will be going through Roosevelt City to what they call the Winterton Pad over by Glen Murphy, Summerall Lane, over that area. They're looking for a temporary easement on our 5th East Road at the Gulch crossing of Dry Gulch through the culvert. They've met with Kirby, I believe. We've looked at the culvert and deemed as staff that would be okay. We've addressed high water situations and they assured us that they could mitigate that. And that one would be 25 rods at $250. So a total of $324.30 is what would be coming to the city for these temporary pipeline right away. And we're looking for approval. Of course, there is a contract with this as well. We'll have to get with Grant to review, but we are looking for approval based on his review of the contract.
So I have a quick question. I know you explained it, but can you explain again what they're planning to do there on 5th East with that?
Yes.
easement?
So we have a box culvert. There is a squash pipe, corrugated.
Yeah, it's corrugated.
A corrugated pipe. What size is that? Probably a 12-foot?
Yeah, I was gonna say at least 10 to 12.
10 or 12
Very,
foot
it's very large.
pipe, and they'll be going under the road with the lay flat.
Through that culvert? Okay.
Yes, and then
And it's a lay flat, temporary, be there 6 months or something?
yeah, I think their term was a year.
Okay.
What's the contract?
So that will be right there, basically sitting right in the water, right? Pretty much.
They were supposed to be here to present tonight, so we're kind of pinch hitting on.
You know what, discussion.
Oh, are you here for that?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Thank you. I was just gonna let you handle.
That's funny.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Hall, and I'm with Encore Land Services. So I work with Uinta Wax, and Leslie sent, she put me up to this, Leslie Pearson. So, but what we wanted, we did have this offer letter, and I talked with her today, and she said, you know, we do $10 per rod for most everyone, but she said that we already have an agreement with the city, and it is better than that. It's what you would usually be paid for, like a crossing or something like that. So she said it's $250 and then 25 cents a foot. So I did want to make sure that you guys, because it did seem kind of cheap. And so it would be $250 and then 25 cents a foot. So that would make, I think, the payment a little better for you guys. And it is a temporary right-of-way for a lay flat line to move the water for production. I think it's a 10-inch polyurethane line. We need to utilize that, especially for the culvert, so that we can get across that gulch there and make sure that we can get up past the Winterton pads.
Good. I'm just thinking, is there any way you could put a thicker section of lay flat through the culvert and I just wonder if that might help mitigate potential break from high flows or something like that.
You know, I really don't know that answer.
What, this water that's in the line, is it production water or is it culinary water, basically?
It's basically fresh water.
Okay, well then I'm not too worried about it, okay.
You know, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's no production
That's-
water, it comes from the pond, you know, down, south.
Okay.
So if it.
I'm not worried about it then,
Yes,
okay.
so-
For some reason, I was thinking there might be some contaminants in there, but okay,
I
that
see
makes sense.
exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
No, this is purely, it's basically
asked.
fresh water to frack with.
Okay.
That's a good question if it was otherwise.
Yeah,
yes.
thank you. Okay, I have no problems with that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion
I'll move we approve.
contingent on
Grant reviewing the contract.
city attorney reviewing.
Reviewing the contract.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
Gentlemen, I do need to say, we would like approval now, but we'll come in for the contract when we're closer to laying the line, so that it will, you know, so we don't miss our window. If
Okay.
That's all right.
Do I get a second on that one?
Grant, is there any issues with that request?
It's basically the same thing, I think.
Okay.
You're giving the approval
Yeah.
subject to council review, but we've got to have a copy of the contract to do that.
Okay,
Is the contract gonna change from the one we have?
No, the contract should not change. A very simple contract isn't recorded in the county records or anything, and I think the only thing that I would change in there, which I'm so sorry, is the price. You know, it was just kind of that was an oversight on my end.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I got a second by Councilman Baird. All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, and thank you for
so much.
coming to share.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, you can open that door now, Drew. I think they have since dispersed, so I know they're concerned. All right, so we are skipping the school resource, but for especially Councilman Allen, just so you know, the city renegotiated with the school district for an SRO, and it was basically covering about half, I think. Mr. Bake, is that correct? About 60,000. And from Superintendent Young, he was under the impression, because the contract was late or something in his mind, I don't know all the details or dates, I don't remember, we have to go back and look, but he felt like that they were going forward with the 20,000 they originally paying, and then they would start the 60 the following year or something. I don't know the details, so the district didn't budget for that. We're tabling that because the mayor's not here, and I think he would want to be involved, and Councilwoman Goodrich, and plus I would have to recuse myself from that one, but I think we need a little more information anyway, just before we can make a decision as a council. You know, we want to be fair both to the Roosevelt City, but also to the school district if there was some miscommunication or misunderstanding or whatever. So anyway, just so you're aware. So that, and you have it in your packet. I think if you saw the packet one, there was two. One had 20,000 and one had 60. The district hasn't paid yet. They will pay. They're just trying to get clarification on the SRO payment and stuff. And I met with Chief Watkins this morning, and he's like, whatever the council decides is fine. We just need to make a decision going forward. So for sure, we'll put that on the next council agenda. So just wanted you to be aware of that, but we're not going to make a decision on that tonight. Okay? Were there any questions on that?
No, thank you.
Okay. We're now up to the 2025 street reconstruction. Jones and DeMille. I don't see Jeff, so it must be Jordan. I love that Jordan got thrown under the bus for tonight.
No, I didn't get thrown under the bus. Sorry, I'm not Jeff, not as tall or as handsome as he is.
But you have a cuter baby.
Yeah. I always got some cute babies. So I'm just here to just go over the results of the bid opening for the 2025 street and route 40 reconstruction project. Sierra, would you be able to pull that attachment up?
I'm working on it right now.
If not, I've got physical copies as well.
Yeah, if you'll show council.
Maybe bring the count while she's working on that. Thank you.
So this project, we just one of Kirby's street maintenance projects. It's various roads in the city, fixing the road and replacing sewer and water infrastructure in areas that really need it. So we had 3 bidders on this project. We had HMH Excavation, BHI, and TMT contractors. So our engineer's estimate for this project was $2,298,460. The apparent low bid on this project was HMA Excavation. They came in at $1,998,571.48. And then we had TNT General Contractors. They came in at $2,337,854.96. And then we also had BHI. They came in at $2,075,471. And then Kirby, you want to come up? Yeah.
I'd like to thank Drew for letting somebody else have some time. So, like Jordan was just stating, the apparent low bid was HMH. And doing some reference check, there was some not so favorable things, and we haven't worked with them in the past. We're not familiar with them. And it appears like they don't have a lot of experience in the road construction part. So with that being said, my recommendation would be to go with BHI. Because of those circumstances, I think that, this is my opinion, that we'd get a better product, and because of the lack of experience per se, and not favorable references, that's why I would like to recommend that my recommendation would be BHI, not the apparent low bidder.
Have we ever had HMH work on projects in the area?
Not here.
Not in the area.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
We have had BHI.
In looking at their budget estimate, did it look like there was any numbers that were way off or?
Yes, there was. So their asphalt, which is a large portion of this project, they were like half the price of the other bidders, and so they were coming in like $250,000 low on that, but they were higher on other items. So that was really the kind of the one thing that we noticed was they were really, really low on their asphalt. So, yeah.
And did we budget the 2.3, basically 2.298, whatever million?
Yes.
So it's amazing, we had 2 of the 3 bids under.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. So we're gonna save some money.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Kirby or Jordan?
I move we award BHI the bid.
I have a motion by Councilman White to approve the bid from BHI and a second from Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye as well. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. The financials went through. Any questions on the expenditures of financials?
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Councilman White to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We now have a report from,
Yes, we're gonna do a quick update, overview. Kate's here, does have this, if she can bring it up, I got it to her late, so if she can't, it's my fault, not hers. This is just a quick update on where we're at on the fiscal year 25. With 33.4% of the year remaining, we are only 39% short of our revenues, which is expected. I'm happy with that. We have 36% of our expenditures still outstanding. Debt service is kind of a done thing. We have paid our debt for it this year.
Yay.
Yeah. Capital projects, we actually came a little under on that one as well. So at some future point when we close this budget, I'm sure that Zeke will be bringing this back. We'll probably move that 278,000 back into the general fund. So that's a good story on that one. So. Then capital projects, you have, I've given you another piece of paper on the back of this that just gives you an update by project of what projects we had for this year, how much we had budgeted for them, and how much has been spent. And then we go to, and we're way underneath on expenditures. There are some of these projects that I know we'll probably have to carry into next year. Of course, several of these projects are funds that we're putting away for future cemetery or other projects that are very large projects, and we're just earmarking money for those going forward. Water utility. Their revenue is right on track with where we would expect it for the year, and expenses, they're only at 56%, but there is about $1 million worth of depreciation for the year that has not been posted yet, so that will change that a little bit. And then same thing with sewer, we're at only 34% below expectation for revenue, which is where we should be. Our expenses look to be very low there, but again, we have 420,000 in depreciation that has not yet been booked. And we have 300,000 for the Bonnie Lane sewer project, which is part of an overall project that probably is going to roll into next year. But that will be done when we do the water line in the streets and all of that, so. And that is kind of where we're at. I'm pretty happy with where we're ending up. I'm sure that Zeke will be giving you more information in the future, but we've got plenty of money. The city is sitting in a very good place, and this is the last time you'll have to hear me.
Well, thank you.
This is my last council meeting. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you, Rhonda, we appreciated you.
I had cataract surgery, you're a good-looking bunch. I never really saw you before.
I don't think it was that good a surgery, that's what you're saying.
I need a refund now.
Yeah.
No, it's been great. I very much enjoyed this. I've learned a lot. I hope it's said that I left the city in better condition than I found it. And I know there's still challenges, there's things to do, but I think we're on a fast track to have all of those, and I have so much confidence, and Zeke's gonna do a great job. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Yeah, thank you, Rhonda, for everything, and I will say, I mean, this looks really good knowing where we're at, and I think you and as well as all the managers of the different organizations have been really good about managing budgets and keeping things in line, because it is the money of the citizens of Roosevelt. We want to be good stewards of that and be responsible. And I appreciate when these kind of reports, we can say, yes, we're trying to be very responsible, and we're spending the way we should be without going crazy. So anyway, anyone else on that?
Just really appreciate everything you've done. You've been great to work with.
Yes.
You've been great too.
I hear there's a party coming up. Well, you're up. Come on up, Mr. Bake, City Manager report.
As our Mayor Pro Tem said, surprise, she has to know because her family's coming, so hopefully you know.
Yeah, my granddaughter called and said, so I'll be there Sunday, and I'm like, oh, you're coming? She's in Washington going to school, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm coming for your party. And I said, oh, I think that was probably supposed to be a surprise. And she goes, well, not now.
In the department head, I looked over to Sierra this morning, I said, do we have the thing tomorrow? And she looks at me, I'm like, the training. I'm a terrible liar.
Yeah, I'm gonna act real surprised.
Tomorrow, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, please come for a very important meeting. Very serious meeting.
Very serious.
But yes, we do just want to recognize Rhonda for all she's done. She's been fantastic to work with, keeping us financially sound and everybody updated, going through the Tyler implementation was a piece of cake, happened overnight.
Oh, yeah. It was a breeze.
Yeah, Zeke is benefiting and reaping the rewards of that. That it's all done, right, or mostly?
Mostly, yes, yeah, he sees the benefits of it, so,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Just one final reminder, in the month of May, we will only have our first council meeting. The second one has been canceled due to ULCT, so. April, not May, I'm a month off. Please don't be gone in May. If you are not planning on ULCT, if plans have changed to where you can go or can't go, please let us know and we can make arrangements. If something changes last minute, we'll find a place for you, just get you down there. Any questions for me?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. We should be looking at budgets here pretty soon for next year, right?
We have the Utah Finance Officers Association Conference coming up, and Zeke and I have requested all departments to give some preliminary budgets. And so we'll have a very preliminary budget completely ready for council in about 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
So you'll have plenty of time to review budgets multiple times.
Right, that's what we want, so. Any committee reports? Mr. White, Mr. Barry? No. I don't have anything, other than I know that the Interfaith, did a, emergency preparedness kind of fair over at the, senior center. I heard there's about 40-ish people that showed up, I think they're open for more, but, it was their first attempt, and so hopefully they get a few more the next time, and, we'll keep working on that. That's all I can think of off of that. Any items for future discussion? No need for a closed session? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman White to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Second by Councilman Baird. All in favor?